Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Abby Martin. I'm here actually across the world. It is about 3 in the morning right now, my time, and I just watched the most insane debate ever, way crazier than the first one, actually. So let's get down to basics here. Donald Trump holds a press conference mere hours before, no, actually about an hour before the debate, with about four of Bill Clinton's sexual assault victims. Wow, extremely surreal to do that right before the debate. Yeah, the gloves were off right off the bat. They looked extremely pissed at each other. They did not shake hands. What was so weird is that Trump, bizarrely deflects this question of the tape that he knew that they were going to ask him right off the bat, and he just started talking about ISIS, African Americans. But then, of course, we knew where he was going to go with it, and really went balls to the wall about Bill Clinton. Wow, so crazy. I mean, seeing these two people standing up there, knowing that only 9% of Americans actually voted for the two most detestable candidates in U.S. history, really just shows you the implosion of empire. I mean, this is a really crazy dog and pony show, the craziest I've ever seen in my short life, and I think in the history of this country. Let's kind of go over some points here that they talked about. So first, let's talk about the tape to get that out of the way. I think that this is very prevalent across every industry. There's rapey, misogynist stuff that's said all the time, and I think it's really interesting that the media and all these political figures were feigning shock when they've embraced Trump for decades, taken his money, taken his business deals, praised him like a god, and so it's just funny now to come out and say he's a scumbag. I mean, come on, we've known that already. So another thing that's really weird is that Hillary Clinton keeps saying, go to my website and I will have my website debunk what he's saying. It's like, this is a debate. Shouldn't you be debunking what he's saying now? Like, why do you have to have like your minions on the website debunking what he's saying? So that's extremely sad. So let's also talk about how Hillary ignored the rape stuff and just deflected to the birther stuff, which unfortunately Trump is right. I mean, her campaign did put out the Obama wearing the turban. I mean, Obama's campaign official actually said it was the most like horrible thing, detestable thing that he's seen leading up to that. That her campaign actually released a photo of Obama wearing a turban to kind of fuel this whole issue that he wasn't born in America. So that is true. That's been fact checked. So it doesn't really look too good for her when she brings up the birther thing over and over and over again. Although Donald Trump, of course, is on a whole nother level with it. Um, so also let's talk about how, this is so interesting because every time, obviously we know the media is in full swing, 100% anti-Trump. Of course, this has tricked people into thinking that Trump is somehow anti-establishment, but it's just so surreal that at every debate, it seems like all the questions are just catered for Hillary and against Trump. And believe me, I am no Trump supporter at all. I'm just speaking as a media analyst, as, for my profession. And it is extremely surreal to see this time and again. I mean, could it be any more obvious? So it's so hilarious. Trump goes out balls to the wall right off the bat talking about the emails, how she should be in jail. Totally agree. War criminal, started with the Iraq War vote. But then again, if you look at Trump's side, he never came out against the Iraq War until after the war started. So that doesn't really help, stopping the war as a public figure at all. So that's a total lie. I agree that Hillary should be in jail for many reasons. It's hilarious. I mean, he keeps bringing up these things that just show the complete vacuous void of the corporate media. The emails, how come no one's bringing up the fact that she smashed had her staff smash all these phones with hammers, deleted 30,000 emails. I mean, that is so absolutely batshit crazy. Once again, the whole climate change issue, here's one of the most pressing issues of our time. And Donald Trump calls it a Chinese conspiracy, and Hillary Clinton is promoting fracking around the world with oil companies, oil and gas companies that fund her. So it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to not see this issue addressed first and foremost, and to have two of these candidates, like, I think the worst news of this whole election is that one of these people is going to be our president. And they're both total sociopaths and liars. You can't believe a single word either of them really say. They are friends. They're good friends. They've been friends for a long time. Their daughters, I think Chelsea vice versa, either one. Ivanka either introduced Chelsea to her husband or vice versa. And I mean, I really think that says it all. These people are in a very small elite class. I think another point to bring up is the fact that they're both, Donald Trump's a billionaire, Hillary Clinton's a multimillionaire, funded by like theocratic Gulf monarchies. And the problem is that half of the country is living in poverty. Half of the country is living paycheck to paycheck, and it just couldn't be more out of touch with what this country actually needs. Their whole interest is being CEO of the empire. That is the job of a U.S. president, and their interest is maintaining the empire. Who can maintain that best? And I think that that's really the revelation when you see why so many in the establishment, especially many neocons and Republicans, are against Trump, because they think that he wouldn't be as good for maintaining the empire as Hillary. Look at Hillary's track record. She's a complete war criminal, a total war hawk. The Russia stuff, I can't. I seriously can't. The Russian aggression stuff. First of all, there's no evidence, and even Hillary has admitted there is no actual evidence that Russia hacked the DNC. Literally none. And to actually sit up there and claim that Russia is usurping or undermining U.S. elections is insane. Because the CIA, I think, has pretty much undermined every government in the entire world that doesn't kowtow to the U.S. empire. So that's insane. I mean, what gall do you have to stand up there as a presidential candidate and actually accuse a foreign country of, working with Trump to undermine our elections? It's like, dude, look at what country you're actually running for president for. We're like notoriously screw up every country, usurp every democratic evolution. Come the F on, all right? So another thing that I wanted to bring up also is, Trump's economic plan is insane too, because I didn't even really know what it was since he's so vague about like all of his policies. So is she. They're both terrible at actually explaining details. But Trump's whole plan is just like Reaganomics on steroids. It's like voodoo economics. We've already established, I think, worldwide that was like the worst disaster ever economically. So he wants to completely abolish taxes for corporations and stuff, and thinks that somehow that will make them move back to America and then hire people for a living wage. I think it's extremely bizarre. The whole Islamophobia, Muslim thing, look, these people are so similar on so many issues. Hillary saying, yeah, Islamophobia is a problem. Well, maybe you should stop going to war and waging war with all these Muslim countries, because that really exacerbates Islamophobia when you have to dehumanize an entire population of people to make Americans okay with the fact that so many Muslims are dying at the hands of U.S. empire every day. I mean, I didn't hear one comment about Saudi Arabia or Yemen. Maybe I missed the Saudi Arabia thing. But what happened to Yemen? What happened to the fact that we're backing Saudi Arabia, massacring Yemenis every week? Just yesterday, a funeral was bombed with our tax dollars. Oh, well over 140 people were massacred. They called it a river of blood. This is sick. And we're sitting up here talking about, look, I think what Trump said is disgusting and misogynist, not surprising being in the media industry. But I mean, come on, let's talk about some real stuff here. Climate change, Saudi Arabia, and they both completely agree with funding the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Truly, truly disappointing. These are two grave humanitarian disasters in the world, and they both are completely lockstep in them. Back to Russia, this is dangerous. This is extremely dangerous rhetoric, and I think Trump is right to say, like, why shouldn't we be friends with Russia? Isn't that a good thing, to be friends with someone who we're actually fighting a common enemy with? It makes no sense how insanely vitriolic she is against Russia and just keeps hammering down on it. I'm going to stand up to Putin. This is extremely dangerous rhetoric for people like my mother, who have lived through the Cold War and still has nightmares about living through like apocalyptic scares and the air sirens going off and thinking that a nuclear bomb was going to drop. This is no joke. Like, this is crazy talk. This is crazy talk, all right? So, again, like, this is insane. This was a crazy debate. The fact that he brought up all the rape stuff right off the bat, had this press conference. I mean, really, it's such an implosion of what's going on right now. It's a dog and pony show on steroids. And I wanted to take just a couple of your comments. If you guys have any Any questions or comments? Let's talk about this. It says, she actually said it wasn't possible to get Russia to a negotiating table over Syria. Look, the U.S. just bombed, I think, 60 Syrian troops. The ceasefire was obliterated. That's the kind of accident that starts world wars. So what's going on in Syria is totally crazy. The fact that, you know, the CIA was on the ground at the beginning of the Arab Spring funding the opposition, and Hillary's batshit plan for a no-fly zone will cause a full-blown war. And that's not a joke either. So Hillary's a war hawk. Donald Trump is a buffoon. And I can't believe a word that either of them say. And I really encourage everyone to just take a step back and stop this binary, dichotomous thing. It's like every time you say something bad about Trump, it means that you support Hillary. Every time you say something bad about Hillary, it means you support Trump. Look, both of them are absolutely terrible for many, many reasons. No one is fighting for the good of this country. I do think it's funny that Trump's whole campaign is premised on the, Make America Great Again. At least he's acknowledging that America is not great, not the greatest country in the world, whereas Hillary's whole foundation of her campaign is U.S. exceptionalism and doubling down on that. Honduras, yeah, no one mentions the coup in Honduras. Look at what Hillary did. I mean, she boasts about it in her book, that she was instrumental in that. Murder rates have doubled, at least, probably. Destabilization of Latin America. Trump keeps doubling down on building the wall. Here's the thing. Mass deportations under Obama, deporter-in-chief. I think 2 million people deported. Hillary's already said she's going to deport families. We already have a wall, a huge wall, going pretty much across the entire southwestern border of the U.S. So this is all insanely erroneous rhetoric, and I think it's time to start calling it out. And Haiti too, oh my God. I mean, look at what the Clinton Foundation did to Haiti. My partner Mike and I, for Empire Files, we were out covering the last debate, outside of it, maneuvering through all these insane security checkpoints that took us like an hour and a half to even get there. And once we were there, we saw a huge contingent of Haitian activists who were actually anti-Trump, anti-Hillary, and they were explaining to us how much the Clinton Foundation actually completely screwed over Haiti. And they were extremely eloquent in their description of what this criminal foundation has really done to siphon money. And if you just look at the donors, I mean, come on, look at the Empire Files expose we did on Hillary Clinton, and it really sheds some light on who this woman really is. She'll say anything to get elected. We can't trust a word out of either of their mouths. Yugoslavia, someone just said RIP Yugoslavia. That's another thing that Hillary boasts about in one of her books, is that she was actually instrumental in Bush and her husband bombing Yugoslavia. So that's something to be proud of. The build a wall, Canadian border. Hell no, man. Come on, we don't need another wall. Too many walls already. You guys, don't get sucked into this binary train of thought. Don't get sucked into the divide and conquer. We need to stand up against these two corporate-controlled, multimillionaire, billionaire class. We need to stand for the people. Don't get sucked into the whole lesser of two evils fear-mongering, because really, I detest both of them equally. I think that both of them are equally horrible in many, many ways. I think Hillary could start, World War III. It could be catastrophic, but Donald Trump's such a puppet that he could just do whatever people tell him to do, because he's so, he'll just do whatever. So, look, it's time to stand up to these people. It's time to stand up to the U.S. empire, because we need to limit. Once the empire starts imploding, it's going to be really bad for the rest of the planet, and we need to stand up and say no more. We're not going to accept this, because if we keep falling prey to the lesser of two evils mentality, we're just going to keep pushing the entire political system to the right. They're going to never... It's all about mass movements. It's all about people who are going to push this the way that we want. And if we just keep capitulating to these neoliberal sociopaths, then, we get the candidates we deserve. And Donald Trump is certainly a manifestation of how screwed up our society and reality-dom obsession is. So, you guys, third party all the way. Jill Stein, Gloria La Riva in California, 100%. You guys, it's time to say no more. A lot of people like Gary Johnson too. Look, I'm saying it's a protest vote against these two people. It's time we stand up and say no more. Thanks everyone for watching. Check out Telesaur English. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on Facebook. Thanks so much everyone. Watch the Empire Files on YouTube and let us know what you think. Peace.